This session is about the confession and its different kinds.
It will provide the information about procedure of recording a confession, ingredients for recording confessional statement, types of confession, difference between the same and much more information about the subject.
During the session you will be shown an animated video, where an accused will be produced by the police, for recording of his confessional statement before the magistrate. The magistrate will record his confession, after observing all courtal and legal formalities.
In this video you will witness the magistrate explaining to the accused about the consequences of recording the confession, that he is not bound to make the confession, that the confession made shall be used as evidence against him. Officer, he is an accused, is it true?
Yes, sir.
You have made an application that the accused voluntarily intends to make the confession.
Yes, sir.
The prosecution officer, have you forwarded this application for recording of confession?
Yes, sir. I have forwarded this application, as accused is ready and willing to make a voluntarily confession.
You are an accused in this case.
I am an accused.
Do you want to make a confession?
Yes, sir.
All court staff, prosecutor and others present in the court may leave same, so that I may record the confession of the accused. I would like to explain that it is mandatory by law that while recording of confession nobody should be in the court, except the magistrate and the accused. So all of you are requested to cooperate and withdraw from the court. Thank you very much for your cooperation. Okay. Mr. Accused, first of all I would like to make it clear to you that you are not bound to make confession, and the confessions if so recorded may be used as an evidence against you. At the same time I would like to satisfy myself that this confession is free of duress or pressure.
Sir, I am making this confessional statement with my free consent and I am not under any sort of pressure, and that I understand the consequences of recording the same. I further understand that confession recorded will be used against me as an evidence, and that I can also be convicted because of this confessional statement. Sir, I am ready for recording of confessional statement.
After recording the confessional statement, I am going to read over the confessional statement to you.
Sir, this is all true and correct.
You are required to sign and thumb impress the confessional statement.
Okay, sir. I have signed and thumb impressed the same.
Magistrate issued the certificate under Section 364 of CRPC, and ordered that the accused be sent to the judicial remand. Now you will hear another animated video, where a senior prosecution officer will be explaining to an assistant public prosecutor different kinds of confessions and its evidentiary value.
Good morning. The accused has made a voluntarily confession in my case. can you please explain it to me? About different types of confessions, and the difference between the confession and admission.
Yes, sure, why not? It would be a pleasure for me. We know. The confessional statements are recorded by the magistrate, in accordance with Section 164 of CRPC. However, the procedure to record the same is being provided under Section 364 of CRPC. Before discussing different kinds of confessions, I would like to show you a real-life confession statement. Here you can see the certificate issued by magistrate under Section 364 of CRPC. And the confessional pro forma, which is signed and thumb impressed by the accused in front of magistrate. I would like to explain that the confessions is always recorded in criminal proceedings, whereas the admissions are made in both criminal and civil proceedings. Confession itself is sufficient or conclusive proof of the guilt, but admission is not a conclusive proof. Rather, it acts as estoppels. There are three types of confessions: inculpatory, exculpatory, and retracted confession. I think I have done justice with the topic.
Yes, sir. I am ambitious to learn more about the kinds of confessions.
Okay, it's my pleasure. The first one is called inculpatory confession. This type of confession is true and volunteer confession, where the accused confess about his guilt. This type of confession is considered a substantive piece of evidence and is sufficient to convict the accused. The other one is exculpatory confession. Here the accused uses it in his defense and tries to get the benefit of general exceptions under the Pakistan Penal Code. The third and the last one is the retracted confession. In this form of confession, the accused makes the confession and later on withdraw or deny from the same, alleging that the confession was the result of torture or threat. Here, I would like to clarify this type of confession through an example. An accused made a confession before the magistrate, but subsequently he denies from the same. Here, I would further like to explain two important things regarding the retracted confession, which the court has to see.
Sir, can you please elaborate the same to me?
Yes. Of course. The court has to see that whether the confession is true or voluntarily, or there exists sufficient corroboration. Here in such type of confession, the burden of proof always lies upon the accused that confession was not voluntarily or true. Here I would like to explain that the cases where confessions are recorded are deemed as fit cases for trial. But from prosecution point of view, it is important that the confession must corroborate with other evidences collected by the investigation officer. Being a young prosecution officer, you will be often confronted with the situations where the accused made confession and thereafter during trial retracted from the same. Here in such situation, the defense tries to point out the procedural defects in recording the statement. A prosecutor must not always rely upon sole confessional statement. Rather also focus upon the other cogent evidence against the accused in order to prove the case. I think I am able to explain in detail about your question.
Yes, sir. It was fantastic. I am now confident and highly grateful to you for your able guidance.